guys, it's Shelby, and today we're going to be talking about some more zero waste swaps that no one else talks about. These swaps are not meant to be thrown in anybody else who makes YouTube videos or blog posts or does zero waste Instagram. I'm not making these videos to like throw it in their face that I'm talking about swaps that they don't. I just want to put that disclaimer out here. I don't think I'm particularly special. I just think that I've started a YouTube series where I talk about swaps that not so many people talk about, because I think there's plenty of content out there that talk about the basics, including from me, and I will continue to make zero waste swaps videos for beginners because there are still people out there who need those. But I will also make these videos for swaps that maybe more people need that are more advanced. I have a couple other videos already in this little series, so if you want to check them out, I'll link them up here. I'll also link them in the description, and if you're new here and you haven't already seen those videos, make sure you hit the subscribe button. I've also been told that my intros are a little long, so I will not keep this going for too much longer. Just one more thing to say, thank you so much to Squarespace for sponsoring this video. I do have a discount code with them. They are an all-in-one platform to build your dream website or online store, so make sure if you're ready to build a website, you do it with Squarespace and you check the link in the description. I'll talk more about them at the end of the video. But without further ado, let's get into the swaps. All right, so first things first, a zero waste swap I want to talk about is a stapler. Now, let me know in the comments if you did or didn't know about any of these, because I always get comments that are like,
why did you put that in this video? That's obviously so common. Everyone knows about that.
And I also get the comments that say,
I've literally never heard of this, or I've only heard of the disposable version of this. I had no idea there was a reusable version of it.
So let me know in the comments which one of those you fall under. The first one is a staple-free stapler. Did you know this existed? You don't have to use staples with this stapler. So it seals your group of papers together without a stapler, which means those little metal pieces that staple your papers together don't have to be created in the first place, and then they don't have to be thrown away, because chances are that something that small, those little bitty pieces, are really hard to recycle, because the machines that kind of like break down those materials to be turned back into more materials, the machines that break them down, they kind of just get caught instead of like actually being able to grind them down. Not to mention the steps that everyone knows, which is reduce, then reuse, and then recycle, means that recycling is your last resort, not your first, which is reducing. So if we can skip the staples altogether, that is more eco-friendly. So a staple-free stapler is pretty stinking cool, if I do say so myself, and a good zero waste swap for anybody who has an office or a desk or just around your home if you need one for that. So I'll have a link below, as with all of the swaps we're going to be talking about today. I'll have links below if you want to check them out. This next swap was inspired by my friend here on YouTube, Emmy. She goes by Sustainably Vegan here on the tube. She recently talked about a more eco-friendly version of lube that she uses, and she talked about how people shouldn't be ashamed to talk about sex, which I have no shame around sex. I'll tell you about my sex life all day. I'm just kidding, I won't, because my sex life involves more than just me, obviously, so we don't need to talk about that. But this zero waste swap I wanted to talk about, or maybe sustainable swap I wanted to talk about, does not involve anybody but yourself, because it is a personal pleasure device. When Emmy started talking about a more sustainable version of lube, I thought, well, I usually just use spit, which is that TMI? I don't know. I have no shame in saying it, but I don't want to gross anybody out who doesn't like talking about bodily fluids, because I totally understand that as well. Anyway, this swap is a biodegradable personal pleasure device. I don't have all the information about it memorized in my head, so I'm gonna read it off to you what it is, and then you can check it out at the link below if you wanna learn more for yourself. So the details here say, the first ever biodegradable and recyclable vibrator. This device is crafted from starch-based bioplastic and features a slim bullet design with a tapered tip for internal or external stimulation.
With multi-speed vibrations and quiet motor, this is a vibrator you can feel good about in more ways than one.
So I guess the insides, like the actual vibrator itself, is recyclable. They have a recyclable program, and then the outer coating is a biodegradable starch-based bioplastic. When I came across this, I thought it was so interesting, and that I had never heard about it before. No one talked about this, and specifically since Emmy brought up sex things in general, it really doesn't get talked about in the zero waste movement very much. I think in my first video of the zero waste swaps no one talks about, I talked about a condom that was more eco-friendly. It's not biodegradable, but it was made with ethical rubber and that sort of thing. I think that's really the extent that people have gotten to when they talk about sex and the zero waste movement, but obviously we're humans. Humans have sex like quite often. So it's obviously a pretty big part of life that people should talk about more. Now, I will say personally, obviously, well, maybe not obvious, I am in a same-sex relationship. Not that condoms are not needed for any same-sex sexual acts, but I've been with my partner for 6 years. We're both tested. We're in a trusted relationship, so we don't use those things. The obvious part is, since I'm in a same-sex relationship, I don't need birth control, so I don't have to deal with that sort of thing. And I'm sure that as people like Emmy and I bring up this topic more and more people will start talking about what form of contraception they're on, and then you guys can learn more from them, because I just personally don't have any experience there. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about that vibrator because I do want to join Emmy in this quest to make sex not a taboo topic. So if you want to learn more about that particular vibrator, I'll link it below. This next one is more of a thing you can do than like a physical item you can have, but come along with me on the journey to tell you how I discovered this. So growing up, my parents were always the people who hosted the parties for our family, or like one of the people who mostly hosted the parties, which meant, if you guys have learned anything about who my mom is over me just like referring to her here and there over the years, she is a very over-the-top kind of person. So my mom would always have these huge ice chests, not like the ones that are like this big. I'm talking like so big my arm span can't pick up both size ice chests, and she would fill them with ice and drinks for the parties and whatnot. Well, when I was younger, or like pretty much my whole life, we lived right across the street from a gas station. So she would always send me to go buy the ice in the plastic bags. And I always hated that because I hated just all of it. She didn't have recycling, so we were buying cans and then we were throwing them away, and then the ice was coming in a plastic bag. It was so frustrating. Well, recently, that gas station that was across the street from my place where we lived my whole life got shut down. So they're like rebuilding it. Something went wrong with the storage tanks. I don't know. I don't work for the state anymore. I don't regulate those things anymore. So I don't know exactly what happened. But I know that they got in trouble for their storage tanks, so they had to make some corrections. Regardless, they're closed. So when Christmas came around and we were hosting Christmas, my mom asked me to go get ice. But since the gas station wasn't there, she actually told me that down the street, there's an ice dispenser where you can just take your actual like ice chest, put it under the dispenser, and dispense as much ice as you need, and you don't have to have a bag at all. I had never even thought about this before, didn't know this existed, just because it wasn't a part of my routine, a part of my life. But when I learned about this, I was like, Mom, this is literally amazing. You can get exactly how much ice you need. You don't have to overpay for it because it's cheaper, because they're not having to ship it. It's actually made at the station where it dispenses from, and there's no plastic bag. This is literally such a win, and I was so stoked. So if you have any sort of events like this where you go and buy bags of ice for the drinks for all of your guests, then I highly encourage you to look up like their little stations. I don't even know what they're called. They're like ice dispensers. Maybe like put that into Google Maps, I don't know. But if you can find one near you, you don't have to get a plastic bag. It's cheaper and you can get exactly how much you want. It won't be too full or too little. It's like the perfect idea. I don't know if this is applicable to many people's lives, but it was obviously applicable to mine, and this can save you from wasting water, from getting extra ice. It can also save you from getting the plastic bags, or multiple plastic bags if you have to end up buying multiple bags of ice. But that was just something I learned recently that I didn't know about before that I thought was really, really cool. So look for those in your areas if you're ever looking to buy bags of ice. Another swap I rarely hear people talk about is gum. Did you guys know that most gum is made from plastic? That's how you're able to chew it for so long on end and it doesn't break down. And that's also why you see it on the ground all the time and it basically just stays there because it's part plastic. So not really something that an eco-conscious person would want to be consuming, right? Well, I recently learned that there is a gum company out there that makes a biodegradable gum. There's no plastic in their gum. So I thought this was really cool, and I thought it was something maybe to keep in mind for upcoming Valentine's Day. Actually, keep in mind the biodegradable vibrator and the biodegradable gum for Valentine's Day, because maybe your Valentine's likes a lot of gum. They can start trying this biodegradable one because they actually also have a lot of flavors. They have, like, I'm pretty sure they had a ginger flavor, there was a mint flavor, there's a fennel flavor. And Madison, when we go to Indian restaurants, she always gets the little fennel seeds at the front and she just eats them, and she really likes the way fennel tastes. I'm giving away all of what I'm getting her for Valentine's Day throughout my videos in the last couple weeks, but I'm gonna get her some of that gum because she likes gum, she likes fennel. It's a really good thing to throw into your Valentine's basket. Or even if just you personally really like gum gum and you're trying to live more sustainably, skip out on the plastic gum and give this gum a try. I'll link it below. I believe it's called Simply Gum, and I actually found it for the first time at Whole Foods when I learned about it. So you can also get it there if you want to just like go in and pick it up instead of like getting it online. But that is a swap that not many people talk about, and I know that gum is quite popular with people in my life, so I'm sure it is for a lot of people. So it should be talked about more. It seems like a swap that could actually save some plastic from going on the ground or to the landfill or in your guts. Don't swallow gum. Ugh. Another swap that not many people talk about is a lighter. So you guys know the typical lighters that most people buy are just like at convenience stores, gas stations. You pick them up, they have fuel in them. You do like this, the little like wheel thing to spark and then light it. And those lighters are not refillable. They're made from plastic, and obviously there's fuel which puts off emissions, and it's just not ideal for someone living a sustainable lifestyle, man. Do you feel me? I don't know what I'm doing today, guys. It's gloomy. I'm like trying to pump myself up. Anyway, a simple swap for this is to get a refillable lighter. So that's a little bit more complicated because I don't know where you get them refilled. These lighters, like traditional Zippos, I believe, can be refilled. I'm just not really sure where or how, and if it's like a refillable cartridge, like you throw away this cartridge and just put another cartridge into the little like metal lighter holder situation. I don't know. Regardless, there's a thing known as an electric lighter. I literally didn't know these existed until the other day. I was thinking about talking about an option for a lighter instead being a match, which is an option, but matches are wood, obviously, and then they have the little, what is it at the end, like flint or something? I don't really know what's at the end of a match, but I was going to say that you can always do matches instead of a plastic lighter, and then I thought maybe there's another option, and there is a rechargeable electric lighter. This is a great swap for people who either have to light things a lot, like maybe if you light candles or if you do barbecues, if you go camping, etc. There are a lot of uses obviously for lighters, and you can have this one lighter for so long because it's rechargeable. You won't also have to go to the store and get a lighter every time you run out. You just have one, keep it in a drawer, take it wherever you need to use it, and recharge it when it's done. I thought this was such a cool swap to stop so many lighters from going to landfill, just to have one lighter that you can reuse over and over and over. So if you are someone who uses those lighters at the stores and then you end up having to throw them away because you don't know how to get one that's refillable, look into an electric lighter. I'm gonna have it linked below if you want to check it out. I don't want to make this video too long for you, so stay tuned to the next installment of this video to learn more about zero waste swaps that no one else talks about. If I'm gonna make this a series, I have to keep it going here, right? I can't give you all of them in one video. You're just gonna have to wait for the next one. So while you're waiting for the next video, make sure you're subscribed and that you've hit the notification bell so you get notified when I upload a new video. Also, don't forget to let me know if there are any zero waste swaps you feel like need to be talked about more. Leave them in the comments. I read all my comments and I get ideas for these videos from the comments as well. Thank you so much for watching, and a huge thank you to Squarespace for sponsoring this video. They are an all-in-one platform where you can go and build a beautiful website. So let's talk a little bit more about them. I want to give an extra special thank you to Squarespace today for sponsoring this video without actually interfering with the video itself. Squarespace is an all-in-one platform that makes it super simple to create a professional looking website with no coding or web experience needed. They also offer a 14-day free trial where you don't have to enter your credit card at all, and if you've been on the internet for a while, you know how rare that is. This allows you to test out the platform for yourself and test out all the different templates and find which one is exactly right for you. These templates don't need editing, but you can customize them to fit your own unique style and your needs. So whether you're building a simple landing page, a portfolio, a blog, or even an online store, make sure you do it with Squarespace. And you can head to squarespace.com/Shelbizleee for your free trial and 10% off of your first purchase of a website or even a domain.